Hey guys, so I'm gonna go over some of the questions from the questions area within the Slack group today. Anyways, not a whole lot of questions, so it's gonna be a quick video. This is actually my second attempt at recording the video because the first one turned out to be 40 minutes long, and I realized that it was insane to have like 5 questions be a 40-minute long video. So let's just blow through this real quick. Selena asked, how do I obtain contracts and disclosure letters? I'm assuming, Selena, that you mean validation letters and dunning notices, as well as maybe a PPA letter, a payment plan arrangement, PIF letter, paid in full, a demand letter, dunning notice, whatever you want to call it. There's a whole bunch of different letters. They're all very similar templates with slightly different wording. The thing is that I have templates to them, but I don't feel comfortable providing those templates openly for the group because I don't know if they're still in compliance. I've been out of the industry for a few months now. My letters haven't even been looked over by an attorney in about a full year, maybe a little bit longer than that. So I unfortunately don't feel comfortable providing that for everybody, at least not right now. Maybe at some point in the future, if I can have my attorney look over them and say that it's okay to share them with you guys. But I don't want anyone using my old templates if they're not, authorized or approved templates. But the good news is that they're incredible. Excuse me. They're incredibly simple, and there's some templates online that you can use. A few things I would recommend. Quite literally, just Google search debt validation letter, dunning notice, VOD letter, or you can use Business in a Box. Business in a Box is the service where I actually have it on my computer. They have a desktop version just like they have the online version. I have the desktop version. I wish I had the online version, but this didn't exist back when I purchased a license to it. This has documents for everything that you can imagine on here. And for every contract I've ever needed, whether it's a PSA for, purchasing or selling debt, or even just something casual like a non-disclosure agreement, if you can call that casual, I guess. To me, that's a casual contract. Anyways, there's all sorts of good stuff on here, and it's I think a one-time fee, $199, and you've got access to one license for this. It says that it's per year, but honestly, I don't mean to blow myself in here, but I am almost positive that I haven't paid for this in like 4 years and that I still have access to all of my documents. So, for whatever that's worth, what I'm trying to say here is ultimately, at the end of the day, have your attorneys look over everything. Don't take my word for it. Don't find a template on the internet and start using that without having your attorneys look over it and modify it for the type of debt collections you're doing. And maybe it's state specific. I really don't know. Anyways, I don't know if any of you are energy drink fiends like I am, but this is called Dr. Enough. It was the first energy drink ever made in the United States, at least. But it's only available in like Tennessee or something like that. But I heard about it and I ordered a case of it, and it's really good. It took a little bit to grow on me, but I really like it. Moving on. Megan, welcome to the group, Megan. Anyone with experience purchasing debt and outsourcing the collections? Yes, a few people here with experience purchasing debt. I'm one of them. I opened my agency about a decade ago, and I've always purchased debt. I've both taken placements and purchased debt every month that I've been in business. So, specifically, you wanted to know about outsourcing collections. I've always been the agency that was outsourced to. On the few occasions where I tried outsourcing debt, I got ripped off. I've had my debt stolen. I've had my debt compromised. I've had remits come back and just the numbers not make sense or add up. And then what I realized is that I wasn't large enough to be outsourcing debt. If you're spending less than $10,000 on a portfolio, there's no agency that's going to want that. And now keep in mind when I say this, that if an agency can't afford a $10,000 portfolio, then they're not trustworthy with yours. Do you understand what I'm trying to say there? If the agency can afford the $10,000 portfolio, it doesn't make sense for them to work yours. But if they can't afford it, it's because they're not organized enough to get to that level where they're purchasing $10,000 portfolios. So my guess is that you probably want to start by spending like $5,000. You're going to have a hard time finding an agency that's willing to work a $5,000 portfolio that's going to turn a profit and be honest with you and not open you up to a ton of liability. Now, there are exceptions to that rule, and don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to sound pessimistic, but it's difficult. It's very difficult, and I've lost way more than I've even come close to winning when it comes to outsourcing. Now, over the years, I've always made sure that I was the person whose remits added up and that were paid on full, in time, without question, no issues. And that's how I was able to build great relationships with people higher up the food chain, which opened up more opportunities for me. So if you want to start an agency where you buy debt and outsource, what you really need to do is you need to set up the debt collection environment and find yourself a remote collector. There's a lot of people that would be more than happy to work from home, even on commission, and work your debt for you. But don't spend $5,000 on a portfolio and then try to cold call collection agencies to find someone who's willing to work it. You might come across a situation where that works for you if you do a lot of networking and really find the right person. But, I might be overly trusting, but I've been stolen from, ripped off more times than I care to share because, quite honestly, it's embarrassing. Case tracker law. This is garbage. I mean, I'm not saying that the software is garbage per se, but I was looking this over, and I don't have much experience with it. They offer some decent services, but it all falls apart when you get to the pricing. Right away, there's so much about this that rubs me the wrong way. Let me go on record and say that I love Bitcoin. I absolutely love Bitcoin. I think that Bitcoin should be everywhere. Not just Bitcoin, but I can go on for hours talking about cryptocurrency. But this right here is, honestly, what that tells me is we get a lot of chargebacks. We're going to cut you a discount if you pay us in a way that you can't dispute the payment. Anyways, one of the really big red flags is, look at this right here. $75,000. You own the code. I was looking over. So, I mean, I don't even know what to say about this. I really don't. It's so ridiculous. Okay, all right. Let me back up a little bit here. Let's look at the starter package. $600 one-time setup. So you're paying them $600 to get you set up. And what do you get for that one-time setup? You have up to 50 creditors. Sometimes you buy a mixed file and there's 50 creditors in one file, a single user, so you can't have employees. 5,000 claims. I'm assuming that is referring to like 5,000 separate accounts. Okay, so maybe 2 or 3 small portfolios, or one medium-sized portfolio, and then $99 a month. So right away you're starting off with $700 for an unknown entity, and you're the only collector that you're allowed to have. I mean, what's to stop me from buying this right here, this $75,000 version of their of their software, where I own the code and then I'll rent it out to you. I mean, like, their pricing model is just outrageous. And then for the standard package, multiple users, unlimited credit, like, this is the plan that you would need right here. Like, you would absolutely need this plan. But then you're talking about a $2,500 setup fee, and then $300 to $500 a month. And I'm sure that just the fact that it says AWS available, that's Amazon Web Services, that means that they're also trying to sell you a server separately from this. Or maybe it just means that, yeah, okay, I just saw this here. So private servers, $1,000 a month, third-party penetration testing. I mean, come on. This is outrageous. I don't care how good the software is. You don't use this. This is software for people that don't know better and that have too much money to burn. That's what this is. Let's see. For the one person setup, $600, $100 a month, it's $700. For $700, I'll set you up with services that'll keep you going for an entire year. You know, and I'm not saying that I want to do that. I actually do not want to do that, but I'm just trying to make a point. Like, if you want some recommendations for software, I'm gonna give some in this video, but just do not pay for this. There's nothing that they've created here. I was just looking this over. I'm building my own, debt collection platform, and I really hope to have it out in the next maybe month or two, which probably is unlikely, probably more like a year away. But there's nothing that they offer that I can't build myself as a one person developer. So I don't know, their pricing, it's outrageous. The only, and this is a small one, the only small bit of justification I could see here is that there might be some sort of legal features on here that I don't know about. Maybe it integrates with some LexisNexis or Westlaw stuff that I don't know about or understand, but this just seems so outrageous. And I wish I could see, I'm going to do a Google image search, but I don't want this video to drag on so long. But I bet you this is probably like the most non-user friendly, difficult to navigate software there is out there. I could be wrong, but I don't know. A lot of things about this just rub me the wrong way. So as long as we're on that note, I'll come back to these other questions in a second, because Eric also asked about software. I'm always going to advocate for CollectionsMax. Always, always, always. You pay $180 per seat, and that's a one-time fee. So you have 3 collectors, you pay that $180 3 times. And those seats are good for life. You can host a server in your house if you don't want to pay a monthly hosting cost. Although I would recommend getting a cloud server. So let's say $30 a month to host a cloud. Plus, $180 per month. I mean, there's just, I need to do an entire separate video about software. And like I said, I'm working on building my own software, but it's going to piggyback off of my old databases, which are both CollectionsMax databases. So I'm already retrofitting it to pull information out of my old CollectionsMax database. So, if you want to be involved with my new software as it comes out at some point, go with CollectionsMax, because then I can already guarantee that at some point I'm going to be able to offer you something better and cheaper than a lot of this other nonsense on the market. And CollectionsMax is by no means the best, but it's what I've used for the past decade, and it's always been good to me. I know a lot of people that use it, and it just works. That's the best I can say. It just works. Simplicity, again, I would recommend Simplicity over, this Case Tracker Law. But Simplicity, one time I did IT services and database management for an office that used Simplicity, and it was horrible. My heart dropped to my stomach every time they called me, because every little IT support issue became this whole huge, take up my entire day and cause giant sets of problems that I can't fix type of situations. Their layout is just incredibly non-user friendly. Like, you can't, if you're trying to get into collections, like, you can't really find a good workflow in here. Whereas with CollectionsMax, you just kind of hit next, next, next. You go through your queue, you call the phone numbers, you notate the accounts, and everything's great. But Simplicity, I was never able to find a flow. I tried to figure out how to use Simplicity in a good intuitive way so that I could show people, but I could not find comfort with Simplicity, and I promise you that I tried. I tried for a long time. And as far as being more affordable, Simplicity Basic, $79 a month, So there's no contract, and it includes one user plus $79 for each additional seat. Okay, so yes, one user. I mean, this would be great, right? But 100 accounts? Who on earth is working 100 accounts or less? Like, this is just unrealistic. There's no point in using this. This is more like get yourself invested by configuring the software the way you like it before you realize that you can't load enough accounts to make any money, and then you have to upgrade. So oh Jesus, look at this. $9,000 setup cost. Oh jeez. All right. And then there's a $700 setup cost for this one. I see what they're going for. I really do. Even the fact that I like this. I like that they say they can install it on your own servers, but from my experience, the agency I was helping out probably wasn't paying for this version of it, but we could not access their database unless it was through Simplicity. And when there was a problem, things broke in a big way where lots of data got lost. So I wouldn't want it unless I was getting this plan. And even still, I would hate myself for paying for this. Time and time again, I'm always going to recommend CollectionsMax. It just works. It's easy and it's quick and cheap to get started. It just works. Okay, where to buy debt? I'll tell you where not to buy debt. Alan, I don't know if you're the same Alan that I've been talking to or not, because I didn't put your last name in here. Don't buy debt online, meaning don't just Google search for buy debt online, and don't search Facebook for debt buying groups. Also, don't look on DebtConnection, and don't look on accountsrecovery.net. These three places, to be honest, it's the same, three people selling all of the debt between these three places. The brokers list the same portfolios all over the place. But and I don't mean to throw any shade at accountsrecovery.net. I love accountsrecovery.net. Still to this day, I'm on their newsletter and I read it every single day. Always have, always will. As long as I have any sort of involvement with this industry. Accountsrecovery.net is great. Subscribe to their newsletter. Don't buy debt on their forums. Same with DebtConnection. No, not same with DebtConnection. DebtConnection is not really good for much of anything. If you need to find some obscure company that does voice over IP and they're collection friendly, maybe you can find them listed in the directory there. But if you're buying debt, stay away from these three sources right here. It's just, you're gonna lose money. You're gonna get ripped off. My recommendation: DebtTrader. If you can go to DebtTrader, by all means go to DebtTrader. It's hard to get approved, but there's a lot of quality control there. Ultimately, a small startup is going to have a lot of trouble getting DebtTrader approved. So if you're interested in working auto loans, go to Agora. Agora is very similar, where there's an entity in the middle, and there's a little bit of quality control, and they sort of vet the people that use the platform to some degree. So you're not dealing with crooks and thieves, and people tend to be more honest, and debt tends to be a little bit cleaner when you're working with these types of brokers. This right here doesn't exist yet. It has 4 portfolios on it, listed on it right now. It's not accurate, meaning all 4 of the portfolios listed are actually approximations of what they're supposed to represent. But what I'm trying to do, and I'm sure a lot of you know about this already, but I'm trying to put together a network of people that I know and trust to list portfolios, that are cheap and affordable for startups to jump into collections. So who knows? Maybe I'll have this done at some point, but it's nowhere near done right now. So I'll keep you guys in the loop when it is, but don't worry about this right now because it's not a feasible option at the moment. The number one thing you can do without question is just to network nonstop. Go to the ACA convention, go to the RMA convention. Find other small agencies, try to go in on purchases with other small agencies. Just just network, and that's how you're gonna find where to buy debt. See if I missed anything here. All right, so freecollect.net, also just like Debt Portfolio. Neither of those exist yet. They're both projects that I would like to have out at some point, but neither of them are remotely available right now. So for the time being, just network like crazy. If you really, if you're gonna press me for a recommendation, I'll give you one. But you really can't trust the broker, because you have to trust the person who's selling to the broker and the person above them. And there's so many places where that trust breaks down that it's so hard to recommend anybody. Just like I don't feel comfortable giving a template out because I really just don't know if my old templates are compliant. I don't really have a pulse on the market right now. I can make calls or whatever the case is, but right now the best I can say is just network. Build relationships, because that's where good debt really comes from. Samuel, I would appreciate guidance on the strategy for building a network of brokers and sellers, including specific referrals or recommendations in that regard. Okay, so you have a plug-and-play collection agency with your family, and you're more focused on developing the origination side of the business. So, honestly, Samuel, same thing is just network. Go to the ACA convention, go to the RMA summits, meet as many small agencies as you can. A lot of, there have been a couple times where I went into a small agency, because I've done a lot of IT work over the years, a lot of, building servers or doing database maintenance, things like that, where I've gone into these small agencies and you see the stuff that they're working and ask, how the hell did you get access to this? And it's all about who you know. Like, it'll blow your mind what you can get access to once you just start networking. But trust nobody at first. Build strong relationships and work from there. That's the best I could tell you. Everybody makes a few bad purchases. It's probably like a rite of passage in this industry, but you can minimize your risk if you don't buy quickly and without doing your research. Anyways, I want to thank you guys for posting your questions here. Megan, Alan, Eric, Samuel, I'm sorry if I missed the purpose of any of your questions, but I'll go ahead and throw this video up now. And if you guys want to ask more specific questions, I'll try to do a more specific video next time. And I hope you're all staying safe. Well, I don't know about the rest of you, but I'm in New York, so we're quarantined right now. We're not supposed to be leaving our houses. People can apparently get ticketed for leaving their houses if they're non-essential workers. There's a lot of people out of work. Things are just crazy out here right now. And I never really thought I was going to see a pandemic, but this is just wild. It might be worth mentioning, though, that the last time the collection industry saw a boom was after the housing crisis, when the economy sort of crashed in 2008. 2008, 2009, that's when the collection industry really became accessible for small business owners. And I'm not saying that that's going to happen, but people have joked about this industry being recession proof for a long time, and I guess this will be a real test for it. I'm personally trying to find ways to automate the collection process, because I have all this back inventory from my agency and I don't have the means to call these accounts, but it's money that's just going to waste. So as I continue to build these solutions, I'll let you guys know about them. There's nothing ready to go right now, but as things happen, it's exciting, so I'll share the news with you guys if and when it happens, hopefully soon. Anyways, stay safe, stay off the streets, please, if you can. Stay away from other people, and I hope that all of you find a way to get through this, because I know things are very difficult for a lot of people right now. So best of luck to all of you. I'm sure we'll stay in touch. If you're new to the group, welcome to the group. And everyone here, you're welcome to ask whatever questions you'd like. Make them as specific as possible. Very specific questions are much easier for me to answer. And that is all today, guys. Thanks.